All right, I'm Rich Fahle. We're on the set of Bookview Now at pbs.org, and we're at BookCon 2015. And we are very lucky to be sitting right now with Grace Helbig,
yes,
who is the author of Grace's Guide, but many, many other things. First of all, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
what a lovely setup you have here. It's
very comfortable
homey.
here.
Yeah.
We just were talking about off camera how busy you are. You have a YouTube show, It's Grace, that's very popular. You've got a lot of followers and fans.
Trying to make something happen on the YouTube, yep.
So you're working that well. And then you've got the Grace Helbig Show on E!
Yes.
So you're splitting time there.
Yes, I tried television to see what happened there. Yeah, we have 2 episodes left of the Grace Helbig Show, and it's been very cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but let's start with Grace's Guide.
Yes.
Because we're at BookCon.
We're at BookCon.
That's one of the worlds that you're in the book world. And talk about a little bit about the extension of your universe and thinking about another platform, another extension in the book world.
Well, yeah, writing a book is so much easier said than done, and you don't really realize it until you try to do it. And so Grace's Guide, The Art of Pretending to be a Grown-Up, which is my first book, came as a real labor of love. I've been making web videos for going on 7 years now, and a lot of them focus on, they're comedy driven, and they're focused on, you know, pop culture and real life things, and a lot of it is user generated ideas about things people want to learn how to do, like the walk of shame, things people want to see cooked, like spam cakes, which is pancakes and spam all in one. And so taking kind of what I was doing online and putting it into like a written form and trying to make some formality out of it was a really cool process to create Grace's Guide. But at the same time, when you make web videos, you create and post on such a quick timeline. You know, a video lives and dies within 24 hours, and a book is not that way at all. Turns out it takes a lot longer to produce the final product, but it feels that much more rewarding because there's so much thought that goes into it, and then you have an actual tangible piece of something to give to other people, and it's been really cool. And I'm working on another one right now, and same thing, it feels very special. Yeah.
Well, it's a totally different template.
Yeah.
Give you that. And then when you get into the groove with your web videos, you sort of know what you're doing. And it's
right.
This is an entirely new world. But the web videos are what led to the book.
Yes.
When did you realize as you were, creating, because a lot of people create web videos, when did you realize that you had something to say in a different way that was going to connect?
Well, I went to college to be a writer, to be in the creative world in some capacity. I didn't know exactly how. And I also started taking improv classes here in New York at the People's Improv Theater, and then started performing on a house team there once a week, and started to love comedy and love the instant gratification of performing in front of an audience. But at the same time, I realized that Grace Helbig, as the social person, is very much an introvert. I like the time to myself. When I'm around a bunch of people, I like knowing that I can come home and kind of recharge my batteries. And so the opportunity that the internet provided was I could be at home and still perform for people.
Are you by yourself when you're making all of it? There's never anyone else in the room?
No, I mean, depending on what it is, for the most part, 95% of the time, it's me by myself in a room with a light and a camera and my brain, and we see what happens. And that was really comforting. And you get the same, I mean, relative to a book, you get the same sort of instant gratification that you get on stage, where you post the video, you get to see the comments immediately, you get to have a two-way conversation with your audience through other social media platforms and through YouTube. So it started to become a hobby of posting these videos, and it eventually, because the medium itself started to evolve and find its footing and find career opportunities within it, it became my career, which I couldn't ask for any other way to make money for myself. My hobby becoming my job is kind of the greatest thing in the whole world.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's really, really special.
When did you know that, when did you know that your stuff was catching on? How fast did it find its audience?
You never know, and that's the thing. Every time someone asks me for advice on making web videos, it is one part consistency and one part persistence, because you never really know if people truly like it, and it all depends on your individual definition of success. And my goal was just to try and create things that I wasn't embarrassed by, things I thought were really funny, things the people in my life that I thought had really great senses of humor would think were really funny, and to maintain that. And I feel like I have done, for the most part, there are some videos I look back on and I cringe about, but for the most part, I feel like I've done stuff that I'm proud of. And by having that two-way conversation with the audience, by finding out how they see you, what is their relationship with you, and alternatively, what is your relationship with them, I started to see that my audience was primarily teenage to early 20-something-year-old females, and that they kind of saw me as this awkward older sister character that was telling them things about the world and trying to give them advice, even though it wasn't the best, but it was the best I could do. And once I realized that was our relationship, it became really clear of the kind of videos I wanted to make for these people, and in turn the kind of book I wanted to make, which was a self-help guide that didn't take itself too seriously. And the feedback that I've gotten has been really great. So that's kind of the path I'm on right now, is continuing onward and upward.
Yeah, I mean, advice.
Yeah.
And really funny advice.
Thanks.
And self-deprecating funny advice seems to be something that you do really, really well.
Thanks. I know that I don't know anything, and I don't know that anyone really knows anything, and it's really freeing when you realize that. And so to have a self-help guide that is trying the best it can't give you everything you need in your life, but maybe there'll be one moment you have with the book that resonates, and that's enough. I feel like that's worth it.
So you created this world. It's your own world. You started in your bedroom by yourself, and
Yes.
it was who you are and what you wanted to be, and as you said, your audience started to help you shape that even more.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make a jump to somebody like the E! Network, there's advertisers and there's producers and there's executives,
Yeah.
and it gets diluted a little bit, that sort of sense of this is all me. On the other hand, they came to you because they love what you do on YouTube. So how have you found that transition?
It's been interesting because I get a lot of the hesitation. You know, there's all these warnings of, traditional media is going to change you. They're going to make you into this puppet that they want you to be. They're going to want you to sell their brand and not yours. And the reason that the production company Embassy Row and I went with E! is because they didn't do that. They did the alternative. They provided me so much creative freedom, and they really understood the sensitivity that I have with the relationship with my audience, because it's authentic, it's pure, it's transparent, and they respected that. And that doesn't happen very often, so I'm told. So I feel really spoiled on a TV level to have worked with a company that just trusted me.
Yeah.
You know, that's so hard. It's so hard to get that, and they really did. And I think that's to E!'s benefit. They understand that, the media as we know it is constantly evolving, and they're trying to experiment with it, and I really respect them for that in turn.
Yeah, so you're becoming, to some degree, sort of a brand. I mean, you're sort of spreading around. And Grace, you just have to use the first name now. And you want to maintain that. At the same time, you're getting bigger and bigger, and you have more and more fans, and you have television, and there's other projects that surely will come about. Mm-hmm. How do you maintain that sort of intimacy of that you in a camera room with that person on the other end as you get bigger?
I think, as much as my anxiety and my introvertedness has plagued me in the past, I really celebrate it now, because I think it truly keeps me from getting too big of an ego and too big of a head, and really it keeps me at home. It keeps me kind of like grounded in that way, where I don't consider the people that watch my videos fans necessarily. I consider them audience, and I'm also audience. I consume YouTube the same way that they do. I watch John Green, I watch Mamrie Hart, I watch Hannah Hart, I watch all of these content creators the same way the people that come up to me watch my videos. And so if I were to consider myself on some other level, I don't know, there's something, my parents maybe instilled me with this, I don't know, there's something in my genetic DNA that makes me feel bad thinking that way. So
that sounds like a really good thing, actually.
Yeah, I think my parents are just like decent, nice people, and that's how that worked out. Which, shout out to parents for being cool.
Well, you mentioned the other YouTubers, because you're going to get you to your panel in just a little bit, but you mentioned other YouTubers, Mamrie Hart and Hannah Hart in particular. You're working with them. You said you're friends with John Green.
Yes.
What's that camaraderie like with other YouTubers?
It's great. I, started out before, while I was making YouTube videos in the very, very beginning, auditioning for TV and film and movies and that sort of thing, and realized very early on that traditional media is so different than new media. New media, especially YouTube, is based on this idea of collaboration. High tide raises all ships. We're all trying to create something together, so all of the successes within the community feel so much deeper to everyone because it's striving to legitimize an entire platform.
Yeah.
Whereas in traditional media, a show on ABC is never going to promote a show on NBC, but I will most definitely promote a John Green video and then a book and a movie and all of these other things that are tangential because of that. And so the camaraderie is fantastic. You get to work together in a way that feels so authentic, and you feel, because YouTube videos and web videos are innately very personal and very intimate, you feel like you know these people when you see them. So I met John at VidCon, which he co-created with his brother years ago. And when the first time I talked to him, I felt like I knew him because I'd watched his videos. And so there's this innate familiarity with each other. It feels like it's the closest I've ever gotten to being like in a sorority,
yeah.
I think.
Well, it's a wonderful group.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
And I think everyone in it is very special because they understand that collaboration is a really key element to creating something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's excellent, and I love that you stopped by.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I love that there's another book in the back of your mind, which we'll talk about next time.
Yeah,
yep.
Wheels are turning.
Yep.
Things are happening.
That's excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us
Thank
here.
you.
We really appreciate it. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so
at BookCon.
much.
Yep, thanks
Appreciate
so much.
it.